Hey, what's going on, guys? The Horror Man back with my review for the infamous, totally bizarre, and truly awesome horror anthology film, Tales from the QuadeaD Zone. I have been wanting to review this one for a while. A few weeks back, I made my very own VHS copy of Tales from the QuadeaD Zone. Because, as I'm sure you probably know, an original VHS tape of this film is pretty much the holy grail for VHS collectors. Copies of the original tapes literally sell for thousands of dollars. And since I will never realistically own one of them, I had to settle for a homemade copy recorded from a print of the film I had. This is due to the fact that Chester Turner and Shirley Jones, who also worked on the film, actually recorded and distributed the VHS copies themselves. It's not as if this ever got a Vestron release, or anything like that. Tales from the QuadeaD Zone is a 1987 horror anthology film, written, produced, and directed by Chester N. Turner. You may recognize that name, because he also wrote, produced, and directed Black Devil Doll from Hell. Black Devil Doll from Hell was originally supposed to be part of this horror anthology, but Chester realized he had enough material to make it its own feature-length film, which is why Tales from the QuadeaD Zone actually only has 3 tales instead of 4. So Tales from the Tri-Dead Zone would probably be a more fitting title, but it is what it is. I have to be honest right off the bat and say I absolutely love this movie. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's terrible. But I love it. It clocks in at just 62 minutes. That's right, only 1 hour and 2 minutes long. Now, please be aware that this review will contain spoilers. I know I usually don't like to spoil films in my reviews, but this is a unique case. Because even if I were to share every little detail, which I won't, this movie is still worth watching. It's sort of right up there with Troll 2. So bad that it's so good. I'd even go as far as to say that Tales from the QuadeaD Zone fits that category even more. It's just one of those films that has to be seen to be believed. But I also have to say, it's a work of passion. Chester N. Turner set out to make a horror film by any means necessary. And he succeeded. Not only that, but it's highly entertaining. He and Shirley Jones are pretty much responsible for everything that went into making this movie. As I said, he wrote, produced, and directed. Shirley starred and did the opening credit artwork herself, as well as this awesome cover art right here. And the music in the film is fantastic. It's actually a big part of what is so appealing about this movie. And when I say fantastic, I mean fantastic in the cheesy, independent, absolutely no budget sense. Did I mention how much I love this film? So, you might be asking, Tales from the QuadeaD Zone, what's it about? Well, get ready for this synopsis. A grieving mother, played by Shirley Jones, is still visited by the ghost of her dead son, who died 3 years earlier in a car accident. The ghost of little Bobby, who was just a young boy when he died, loves to hear stories read by his mother. He brings her a book, which was actually just a Bible with a new cover placed over it, and I'm sure you can guess the title, Tales from the QuadeaD Zone. The first story she reads little Bobby, and the first segment of this horror anthology, is titled Food For? With a question mark. If you don't know what I mean, you can see right there. That's the title. This first tale is about a family of 8 who only has enough food for some of them. In one scene, they only have enough food for 4 of them. In another scene, they have enough food for 5. Rather than, sharing the food, like cutting 4 sandwiches in half when there are 8 people, one of the family members instead decides to just kill 4 of the others with a shotgun, in what is quite possibly the cheesiest murder scene in the history of film. But it's pretty amazing. We cut back to the woman and her ghost son as she begins a second story titled The Brothers. This one is about, you guessed it, two brothers. One of them is named Ted, and the other, Fred. After Fred dies from a heart attack, Ted, with the help of two of his friends, decides to steal the body from the funeral home. His friends don't seem to question his motives until after they help him steal the body. But that's really the least of it. Ted informs them that he has stolen the body to get revenge, and his friends leave him to get on with it. Ted lists off the countless things for which he wants revenge to his brother's lifeless body. So what is Ted's ultimate plan of vengeance? Well, it involves dressing up his brother's body as a clown before burying it in the basement. Because apparently, although this is never stated, Ted must assume that dead bodies can feel embarrassed? Who really knows? Now, I mean no negativity whatsoever when I say these things. I do not mean any of this to be an insult. As I stated, I love this film. So, back to the brothers and this criminally bizarre revenge. Somehow, and that's not made clear either in the film, Ted's brother Fred comes back to life. We actually get to see his spirit enter the body, which is now dressed like a clown. Meanwhile, Ted is digging a hole in the basement where he plans to bury the body. But not before a final showdown with Fred, who is now a zombie clown, speaking some strange language which we as the viewers cannot even begin to decipher. But it really doesn't matter now, does it? Because it does not take away any of the entertainment value. At the completion of this story, little Bobby's father and his mother's boyfriend Daryl returns home. It is at this point we learn that Daryl does not believe little Bobby's ghost is present in the house. And because little Bobby's mother does believe this, Daryl proceeds to beat his girlfriend with the Tales from the QuadeaD Zone book. It seems he is not happy with his girlfriend reading to the ghost of their dead child. But Bobby's mother fights back and stabs Daryl in the stomach. See him? See? There he is, right there. And so the cops arrive, and they are probably some of the worst depicted police officers in the history of cinema. Would you call this cinema? It was never actually in theaters. Well, not initially anyway. I believe this has had some screenings over the years because of its popularity. But anyway, I digress. Bobby's mother will not be taken to prison because she refuses to leave the ghost of her son. So instead, with the use of a straight razor across her throat, she joins him in, you guessed it, the QuadeaD Zone. In the final scene, we see the spirit of Bobby's mother carrying the Tales from the QuadeaD Zone book to the chair where she previously read the other two stories. Little Bobby comments that he and his mother are now the same, and she reads him one last tale titled Unseen Vision, which is basically just a recap of what we just witnessed. A story of a grieving mother and the ghost of her deceased son, who still visits and loves when she reads to him Tales from the QuadeaD Zone. Well, I guess this turned out to be a breakdown of the film with bits and pieces of a review mixed in. Regardless, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Have you ever seen Tales from the QuadeaD Zone? If so, what do you think of it? Comment below and let me know. Thanks for watching.